The entire football world seemed to pause as the Cleveland Browns witnessed something they hadn't seen in nearly 30 years. This wasn't about winning a division or punching a playoff ticket. It was about something far more basic, something most NFL franchises take for granted. For Cleveland, however, a rookie quarterback winning his first start had become almost impossible. That changed against the Las Vegas Raiders. The final score read 24-10. And at the center of it all was Shedeur Sanders, the fifth-round pick who has been quietly turning doubters into believers from the moment he stepped onto an NFL field. In one afternoon, he broke through a wall of frustration that had hovered over this franchise for generations. To understand why this moment matters so much, you have to understand the history behind it. The last time the Cleveland Browns had a rookie quarterback win his first career start was in 1995. Think about how long ago that was. Bill Clinton was president. The internet was still in its infancy. Friends was only in its second season. Since then, Cleveland has lived through nearly 3 decades of quarterback uncertainty, a revolving door that became one of the league's most painful storylines. Before Shedeur Sanders, 17 straight rookie quarterbacks had started their Browns careers with a loss. 17 different beginnings. 17 waves of hope that ended in disappointment. 17 reminders of how unstable the most important position in football had become in Cleveland. It wasn't just bad luck. It became part of the franchise identity. A statistic that turned into a joke. A cautionary example of what happens when consistency at quarterback never arrives. Some of those quarterbacks were high draft picks who never lived up to expectations. Others were veterans brought in as temporary answers who failed to provide stability. Different names, different circumstances, same result. Each one added another chapter to a saga Cleveland fans desperately wanted to end. Then came Shedeur Sanders. His debut only added to the drama because he wasn't even supposed to start this early. The original plan was patience, learn the system, adjust to NFL speed, grow behind experienced players. But injuries changed everything. Suddenly, the fifth-round rookie who showed flashes in the preseason was thrown into a regular season game with real consequences. For most players drafted in the 5th round, that kind of situation can feel overwhelming. The pressure of leading an NFL offense, protecting the football, and delivering under the spotlight is enormous. Many rookies in that position would struggle to keep their composure. But Shedeur Sanders didn't look overwhelmed. He looked ready. And that's what made this moment feel different. What separates Shedeur Sanders from the average rookie became clear against the Raiders. His performance showed that he wasn't just filling in, he was ready for the spotlight. The stat line tells part of the story. 209 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, completing 11 of 20 attempts. For a rookie making his first regular season start on short notice, those numbers are more than respectable. But statistics alone don't capture what really stood out. It was the composure, the confidence, the control. There was no visible panic. No hesitation. He wasn't playing conservatively, hoping the defense would carry him to the finish line. He played like someone who understood the weight of the moment and chose to embrace it. His decision-making was sharp. His timing was quick. His presence in the pocket looked calm and steady. He delivered throws with purpose, the kind that make coaches start thinking bigger and scouts take notice. The clearest example came on the deep shot to Isaiah Bond. Shedeur Sanders drove the ball 52 yards downfield, threading it between defenders and placing it perfectly into his receiver's hands. That wasn't a safe check down or a routine play-action rollout. That was a quarterback stretching the defense and showing he can attack every level of the field. Those are throws typically expected from first-round picks. Instead, it came from Cleveland's 5th-round selection in his very first start. Then came the touchdown that electrified the stadium. A 66-yard screen pass to Dylan Sampson. On paper, a screen pass might look simple. In reality, it demands precision. The quarterback has to sell the dropback convincingly, draw defenders in, release the ball with exact timing, and trust the play to develop. Shedeur Sanders executed it flawlessly. The ball placement was perfect, the timing was sharp, and the result was explosive. It wasn't just a highlight, it was a critical score in a game Cleveland needed. That pass became his first regular season touchdown in the NFL. But what may have revealed the most about Shedeur Sanders was how he handled adversity. Every quarterback throws interceptions. Even legends have moments they wish they could take back. What separates good quarterbacks from great ones is the response. Does one mistake spiral into more? Does confidence fade? Does aggression disappear? After his interception, Shedeur Sanders didn't retreat. He didn't start playing scared. He stayed aggressive. He trusted his reads. He continued attacking the defense. That reaction alone told you he belongs at this level. Of course, the Browns' defense played a major role in the victory. Their dominance cannot be ignored. 10 sacks. Yes, 10. That number is staggering. The Raiders' quarterback barely had time to breathe. Myles Garrett led the charge, recording 3 sacks and constantly disrupting the pocket. The pressure never stopped, and Las Vegas struggled to find any rhythm offensively. Because of that defensive dominance, Shedeur Sanders didn't have to be perfect. He didn't have to carry the entire team on his shoulders. But he still had to protect the football, manage the offense, and capitalize on opportunities. And he did. That balance between defense and quarterback stability is exactly what Cleveland has been searching for. And for the first time in a very long time, it feels real. Garrett was an absolute terror on the field, racking up 3 sacks and consistently throwing the Raiders' offensive rhythm into chaos. The Raiders' offense struggled to find its rhythm, and the Raiders struggled to maintain any rhythm, overwhelmed by constant pressure and disciplined execution from Cleveland's defense. Because of that dominance, Shedeur Sanders didn't have to force the game. He wasn't required to be flawless or carry the entire offense on his own. But here's what often gets overlooked. Even when the defense is playing at an elite level, the offense still has responsibilities. First downs still need to be earned. Points still need to be scored. Turnovers must be avoided, especially the kind that hand the opponent short fields and easy opportunities. That's exactly what you want to see from a rookie making his first start. Shedeur Sanders managed the game with intelligence and composure. He followed the game plan, protected possession, and capitalized when opportunities appeared. It was disciplined football. It was efficient. And it was enough to secure the victory. Moments like this are also why the NFL thrives on star narratives. The league understands the power of identity, legacy, and cultural impact, and the numbers surrounding Shedeur Sanders' debut prove it. His preseason appearance against Carolina drew more than 2 million viewers, making it the highest-rated preseason game on NFL Network in nearly 10 years. That wasn't just a respectable number for an exhibition game. It was a statement. There were no playoff implications. No standings at stake. Yet millions tuned in specifically to watch Shedeur Sanders take the field. That kind of attention doesn't happen by accident. While regular season viewership details from the Raiders matchup weren't broken down with the same precision, the impact was clear. An early afternoon game between 2 teams not projected to dominate playoff conversations suddenly became national viewing material. Why? Because Shedeur Sanders was starting. The Sanders name carries weight. Deion Primetime Sanders built one of the most recognizable brands in American sports history. He dominated in both football and baseball, but more importantly, he built a persona that transcended the field. He became a cultural figure, someone known even outside traditional sports audiences. Now, that legacy connects to the next generation. What makes this even more remarkable is where Shedeur Sanders was drafted. 5th-round picks rarely command national attention. Most players selected that late develop quietly. Their stories unfold locally, often unnoticed by casual fans. But Shedeur Sanders isn't operating in that space. He's drawing television coverage. He's generating conversation beyond Cleveland. Casual fans who might not typically tune into a Browns game suddenly care. That type of influence matters, especially for a franchise that has spent years battling negative headlines. For a long time, Cleveland was defined by quarterback inconsistency and organizational instability. The team became the subject of jokes, documentaries, and endless debate about what went wrong. Now, there's something different. There's intrigue. There's a young quarterback with talent, and a last name that carries recognition. There's optimism beginning to build inside the fan base. And there's real business impact following that momentum. Jersey sales are rising. Ticket interest is climbing. Fans who had drifted away are paying attention again. Number 12 jerseys are becoming common, even among supporters who hadn't purchased Browns merchandise in years. The connection runs deeper than football. Shedeur Sanders' journey, from highly regarded college prospect to fifth-round selection to NFL starter, speaks to something universal. It's about validation. It's about silencing criticism. It's about proving that draft position doesn't define destiny. It's also about building an identity separate from, yet connected to, a legendary father. That emotional layer resonates. Breaking the 17-game losing streak for rookie Browns quarterbacks wasn't just a statistic erased from the record books. It lifted a psychological weight that had followed every young quarterback who put on that uniform. Each rookie before him understood the history. They knew the narrative. They felt the pressure of not wanting to become the next name added to the list. Shedeur Sanders stepped into that situation without hesitation. He didn't appear burdened by the past. He played with the same confidence and edge that has defined his path so far. By doing that, he may have freed future Browns quarterbacks from carrying that same mental obstacle. Now, Cleveland stands at the beginning of a new chapter. Around the league, teams have increasingly shown willingness to start rookies earlier rather than letting them sit for extended periods. Development through experience has become the philosophy. The NFL is demanding no matter when you enter. Real game reps accelerate growth. And if Shedeur Sanders continues progressing at this pace, the direction of the Browns season could shift dramatically. A team once labeled as rebuilding suddenly becomes compelling. If the offense moves consistently and points come regularly, playoff conversations no longer sound unrealistic. When stability arrives at quarterback, everything changes. The outlook changes. The culture changes. The expectations change. And for the first time in a long time, Cleveland may finally have found its answer.